That state's witness will also testify that Marquise Conway was one of the individuals responsible for a portion of that payment.
Dallas hip-hop has always had its fair share of tension, but when Mo3's life suddenly came to an end on I-35 in broad daylight, the city was left in total disbelief. 5 years later, new reports claim Yella Beezy took out $100,000 in cash just days after the tragedy, and the whole thing was supposedly caught on the bank's cameras. It's a wild situation that's got everyone talking, so let's dig into how this all unfolded. The story takes us back to November 2020, under the blazing Dallas sun, when I-35E was jammed with the usual midday traffic. Folks hustling through work shifts, truckers making their deliveries, and everyday people pushing through another tough day. But within just a few shocking minutes, the city's music scene would be flipped upside down. The moment hit hard, shaking the streets and sparking rumors that would echo for years across the rap world. This isn't just another neighborhood disagreement. It's the untold story of two major Dallas rap figures whose rivalry went way beyond the mic. What started as lyrical shots and songs turned into something far more serious, drawing attention from every corner of the city. Now, with Beezy's name resurfacing in court updates and new claims being thrown around, everyone's wondering what's really behind that $100,000 cash move, and if the truth might finally come out after all these years. To really understand how things spiraled into that wild freeway chaos in broad daylight, we gotta rewind the clock and see how this whole storm even began. What kicked off as a small misunderstanding grew into a full-blown street feud that nobody saw coming.
I mean, you came out with these trap and designer records, and what's the latest one that's out right now that's going crazy?
That's on me.
That's on me going crazy. What, like 500,000? What, like a month?
Nah, shit. Right now it says 700,000.
It's the kind of story that starts with pride, loyalty, and ambition, and ends with heartbreak that still echoes through Dallas today. Let's talk about the two main players and what shaped them. Yella Beezy, real name Marquise DeAndre Conway, came straight out of Oak Cliff, one of Dallas's toughest neighborhoods. Oak Cliff's known for its realness. People who hustle hard and survive through whatever comes their way. But it's also a place where every day is a battle to keep your head above water, and only the strong make it through. Life hit Conway hard at a young age. When he was just 12, his world completely changed after losing his father during a tragic home incident on Mother's Day. Something that no kid should ever have to go through. That loss forced him to grow up fast, realizing that life could change in an instant and that safety wasn't promised anywhere. Surrounded by southern trap beats and raw street energy blasting from every corner store and passing car, Conway found peace in music. By the time he was 9, he was already writing his own rhymes, using his words to vent emotions that were too deep to say out loud. This was straight up survival, finding a way to deal with pain without ever showing it. As Conway grew through his late teens into his 20s, those private rhymes and notebook pages started turning into polished tracks. He began moving through Dallas's underground rap scene, calling himself Yella Beezy, a nod to his light complexion and maybe a hint at how his name was buzzing louder with every release. His early mixtapes painted that real Texas trap life with unfiltered honesty, connecting deeply with anyone who lived that grind. Then came the breakout moment. Tracks that blended addictive hooks with real-life stories. Trap and Designer became the soundtrack for Dallas nights, blasting from every club and car in the city. People were spitting the lyrics before they even realized they'd memorized them. That local fame caught the ear of Hitco Entertainment, founded by music icon L.A. Reid, and suddenly Yella Beezy was stepping into the big leagues, where the spotlight and the paychecks got serious. His rise didn't slow down either. That's On Me took him nationwide, proving he could make hits that rocked both the streets and the mainstream.
This witness will also testify to the individual who would receive this payment. The state's witness will testify that Kewan White was, in fact, the individual to receive this payment, who was originally indicted in State's Exhibit number 1.
Soon, he was teaming up with major names like Chris Brown, Lil Wayne, and Gucci Mane, showing everyone that Dallas had officially entered the national stage. Each new feature pushed his reach further, locking Yella Beezy's spot as one of the leading voices in the trap scene. In an interview, he admitted that his breakout single was blowing up way beyond what he ever imagined, a dream turning real right in front of him. But his rise wasn't all smooth. Behind the fame, Beezy's path was filled with ups and downs, the kind that tested his patience and focus. The same streets that gave him his stories also brought drama that never seemed to let go. Legal run-ins and constant attention from the spotlight made him look like a reflection of his environment. A survivor doing what he had to do in a world that didn't always play fair. Now, shift the lens to North Dallas, where another rising talent, Mo3, was grinding just as hard. Born Melvin Abdul Noble Jr. in McKinney and raised in North Dallas, his journey mirrored Beezy's in some ways, but carried its own raw emotion and intensity. Born in the spring of 1992, Mo3 grew up in a faith-filled home where church and family were everything. Greater Hope Holiness Church was where he found grounding, but the streets of North Dallas were where he found his voice. Balancing faith and struggle, he turned pain into purpose, pouring real emotion into every verse he wrote. Inspired by artists like Boozy Badazz, who spoke openly about real-life hardships, Mo3 built his sound around truth. His music mixed soulful melodies with gritty honesty, never polished, never fake. By 2014, his mixtape ties lit up Dallas, earning him a loyal following that loved how real and unapologetic his storytelling was. Mo3's rise wasn't built on hype, it was real. Straight from the people. His buzz grew through word of mouth, packed local shows, and a raw energy that had crowds hanging on every line. The turning point came when Boozy Badazz took notice, offering mentorship and a label deal that pushed Mo3 beyond Dallas.
When Yella Beezy got shot up, what were your thoughts about that?
I gotta stay out the way.
Okay.
Out here, shit. Get hit up every day out here, like. Yeah, nah, you know, they was misinformed about some rap beef, and I was like, nah, I ain't got no rap beef with nobody. I ain't got no rap beef with no rapper in my city. And no rap beef.
Their joint project, Badass Mo3, became a major moment. Proof that Mo3 could stand toe-to-toe with some of the biggest names in the game. Tracks like Everybody and his sharper, confrontational records showed off his range, 1 minute heartfelt and soulful, the next unapologetically bold. But deep in Dallas's hip-hop scene, where ambition meets street pride, a quiet rivalry between Yella Beezy and Mo3 had already started brewing. It began as friendly competition, but over time, the tension grew heavier. Disrespectful exchanges, tense encounters, and rumors spreading nonstop online. Fans couldn't look away, watching every post, every lyric, every move. It wasn't just one single incident that set things off. It was a slow build of pride, misunderstandings, and too many people in their ear adding extra heat. Both artists were from neighboring areas. Yella repping Oak Cliff, Mo3 holding down North Dallas, places rich with talent but also thick with neighborhood loyalty. The word on the street was that the first spark came from something as small as a shared romantic connection. But things escalated fast once outsiders started stirring the pot. That's when Roy Lee Phipps Jr., a Dallas comedian known for his sharp online roast, jumped in. He began joking about rappers' street credibility, calling out Yella Beezy, and claiming his ties to Oak Cliff were exaggerated. Since Roy Lee was cool with Mo3, his online jabs automatically pulled Mo3 into the mix, even though he hadn't said much himself. The drama got worse after Roy Lee reportedly confronted Yella's crew at a Dallas club and ended up getting jumped. Still, he kept cracking jokes online until things took a tragic turn. In late 2018, Roy Lee was hurt during an incident in North Dallas, and complications from that injury later led to his passing. Almost instantly, whispers started flying through the streets, suggesting Yella or his team might have had something to do with it, though nothing was ever proven. What had started as online teasing now turned into something dark and personal. Mo3, feeling loyal to his friend, seemed to carry that tension forward, even if nothing was said outright. Behind the scenes, things got deeper. Yella Beezy's reported connections to certain neighborhood crews brought another layer to the conflict, mixing street loyalty and rap pride in a city already known for heavy rivalries. These connections made every slight, every rumor, and every encounter feel bigger than just two artists. It became about respect, reputation, and who really ran the city. Then came October 2018, when Yella Beezy survived a serious attack while driving on the Dallas tollway. He was hospitalized, and suddenly fans started connecting dots that may not have even existed.
Now, here's the thing. I gotta believe if Mo3 is in this vehicle, I gotta believe that Mo3, it doesn't really feel like he's that much in danger or that this person is trying to kill him. You get what I'm saying? And the reason why I gotta believe that is that the dude passes him. Mo3 could have slowed down. Let's say the guy's going 60. Reduce your speed to 30.
When Mo3 was asked about the rising tension and the dangers facing rappers in Dallas, his calm reaction made people talk even more. Some took it as confidence, others as a quiet warning. By early 2020, that same tension spilled into a Dallas nightclub. Reports claimed Yella Beezy had a heated run-in with Mo3's manager, Brandon Rainwater, which allegedly ended with Rainwater hurt and later filing a lawsuit. When asked straight up about Mo3, Yella Beezy brushed it off with a tone that said plenty without saying much at all. His cool, dismissive response only fueled talk that something deeper was still bubbling beneath the surface. Mo3, on the other hand, pushed back just as firmly, claiming there was no official tension between Dallas rappers. He said the blogs were hyping things up, twisting moments into drama just to get clicks and comments. When pressed about supposed street footage showing confrontations, Mo3 laughed it off, calling it pure internet fiction. People online just reaching for a story that ain't even there. Still, behind the public denials and all that social media noise, something heavier seemed to be brewing. What looked like harmless online chatter was quietly leading toward a shocking moment that would change Dallas hip-hop forever. Then came November 11th, 2020, a day that started like any other Wednesday in the city. Clear skies, traffic steady, folks out working hard and chasing checks. Around midday, Mo3 was driving northbound on I-35E near the Oak Lawn exit, a stretch of road every Dallas native knows is always packed. Nobody could have guessed that within moments the city would be left stunned, and what had once been seen as rap drama would turn into one of the most talked about tragedies in Dallas music history. What happened next was all caught on a truck's dash cam, a chilling video that would later be picked apart by investigators and media outlets everywhere. The footage showed a dark-colored car pulling up beside Mo3's ride, and suddenly, chaos erupted. The driver unleashed a storm of shots, forcing Mo3's vehicle to swerve uncontrollably as horns blared and nearby drivers panicked, not understanding what they were witnessing. In a desperate move to escape, Mo3 jumped out of his car and sprinted across the freeway, dodging cars and trying to stay alive while traffic screeched to a halt. The person chasing him, dressed in all black and covered up, didn't hesitate. They jumped out too and went after him on foot, focused and determined.
I'm not having a standoff in the middle of the highway. I'm keep driving. I'm flooring it, right? I'm keep flooring this bitch, okay? But Mo3 actually stops, but it appears Mo3 must have been under the assumption, oh, this pussy nigga is playing with me. Maybe recognize the guy or recognize the car. And he's like, let me go get my chopper.
Witnesses described a heart-stopping scene. Mo3 running for his life in broad daylight as cars froze in every lane. Within seconds, the unthinkable happened. Mo3 went down on the pavement as chaos broke out all around. Emergency responders rushed in fast, but it was too late. The rising star was gone before the city could even process what had just unfolded. News of his passing sent shockwaves across Dallas and far beyond. Fans flooded social media, searching for answers, while investigators scrambled to piece together what had really gone down on that freeway. The tragic moment turned a rising career into legend, and a local rap rivalry into a full-blown criminal case that would take years to untangle. When the dashcam footage later surfaced in court, it became one of the most replayed clips in hip-hop news history. Media personalities like DJ Academics broke it down frame by frame for millions of viewers, pointing out the terrifying details hidden in those few chaotic seconds. The footage showed Mo3 trying to maneuver a way through the traffic, seemingly unaware of just how serious the danger really was. At one point, he appeared to slow down, maybe reaching for something in his car before deciding to run. A split-second choice that changed everything. At the scene, investigators found dozens of shell casings scattered all over the highway, proof of how intense the situation really was. The evidence pointed to a semi-automatic firearm capable of rapid shots, which explained the number of casings and the extent of Mo3's injuries. Detectives could tell right away that he had been trying to run for safety when everything happened. Footage from dash cams and highway cameras helped piece the story together. Mo3's gold car was riddled with damage, while a dark sedan believed to be tied to the incident was left abandoned, not far away. The videos captured enough of the chase to show how calculated and deliberate the attack had been, giving investigators a clear timeline of those few chaotic minutes on I-35. And the fact that this all happened in the middle of the day on one of Dallas's busiest freeways shocked everyone. Whoever planned it clearly wasn't worried about being seen. They just wanted to finish what they came to do, no matter how many eyes were watching. Detectives soon zeroed in on a possible suspect, a 22-year-old named Kewan Dontrell White, who was already on parole at the time. His name surfaced after Dallas PD released images of someone matching his look near the scene. With help from street tips and forensic evidence, police later connected him to both the vehicle and the weapon. Authorities said White was allegedly the one hired to carry out the act, playing the key role in a much bigger plan. Originally charged with serious offenses, he later took a plea deal, accepting a 9-year sentence for related firearm charges while agreeing to work with prosecutors. Devin Brown, another person allegedly tied to the situation, was indicted alongside Kewan White and Yella Beezy back in 2020. Authorities accused him of helping coordinate parts of the plan, though the exact details of his role stayed cloudy even after the charges dropped.
The state has also had an opportunity to review bank records of the defendant, Marquise Conway. These records would show that the defendant drew $40,000 in the days following the murder of Melvin Noble. And for the record, that was a cash withdrawal. These records would correspond to the exact amount which the state's witness would testify to.
But the real shockwave hit Dallas when investigators started asking who might have been calling the shots behind the scenes. That's when Yella Beezy, real name Marquise DeAndre Conway, suddenly found himself at the center of the storm. He was later accused of being the alleged organizer of the entire setup, supposedly tied to the long-running tension between him and Mo3. The charges claimed he arranged the act, but the process of building that case was anything but simple. With high-profile names and years of street history involved, investigators had to move slow and careful, making sure every piece of evidence lined up. Dallas PD launched a major push right after the incident, dropping photos and surveillance footage to the public, which quickly led to White being identified as the main suspect. From there, detectives focused on matching physical clues, shell casings, weapon links, and witness statements, all pointing toward what really went down that November afternoon. But even with those leads, the case eventually stalled. Detectives couldn't immediately tie everything back to a motive or prove who was giving the orders behind closed doors. It wasn't until street sources started stepping forward with fresh info that the investigation picked up steam again, breathing new life into a case that had nearly gone cold and setting the stage for one of Dallas's most talked about trials ever. Street Whispers and Kewan White's later cooperation finally cracked the case open. Allegations started surfacing that Yella Beezy had allegedly put money on the table as retaliation for earlier run-ins and constant disrespect between both camps. The whole situation stretched from the 2020 tragedy all the way to the arrests in 2025, a long 5-year grind filled with obstacles and delays. Investigators had to carefully separate street talk from solid facts, working through unreliable testimonies and witnesses who were hesitant to speak. Memories faded, stories changed, and some people were too scared to get involved, especially in a music scene where loyalty runs deep and silence can mean safety. On top of that, proving an organized setup without any direct confession or paper trail was a huge challenge. Still, prosecutors built their case piece by piece using every bit of footage and physical evidence available. Highway cameras showed how the vehicles moved in real time, while dash cams captured the raw moments that played out during the chase. Each clip added another puzzle piece to the story investigators were putting together, but the most striking detail came from the financial records. According to prosecutors, bank statements showed Yella Beezy had withdrawn around $40,000 in cash shortly after the incident, a move they believed wasn't random at all. They argued that this withdrawal tied directly into the bigger picture, presenting it as potential proof that money might have been used to fund the operation. The defense team pushed back hard, saying the evidence was purely circumstantial, especially the cash withdrawal that prosecutors kept bringing up. But that same transaction became one of the most talked about points in the whole case. Investigators reportedly got their hands on security footage from the bank, confirming both the timing and the amount of money taken out. That footage hasn't been released publicly, though, as it remains protected under the ongoing legal process. Phone data added even more fuel to the fire. Records showed that around the time of the tragedy, there were multiple calls between Yella Beezy and Q and White.
Do you see somebody running down the street?
I do not.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, okay.
Okay. So you're saying that all that is just nonsense?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Internet be reaching.
With cell tower signals placing their phones near each other before and after the event. Prosecutors claimed this was no coincidence, but part of a much bigger pattern. They argued the incident wasn't just random, it was another chapter in a long, tangled feud filled with past run-ins and bad history. There were even claims that the tension stretched back to Roy Lee's 2019 passing, which people online connected to Beezy's circle after the comedian's viral roasts. Then came the alleged club altercation with Mo3's manager, Brandon Rainwater, which only deepened the divide between both sides. And it didn't stop there. A 2018 incident targeting Yella Beezy was rumored to be Mo3's response, continuing the back and forth that had turned into a non-stop cycle of revenge. By the time the case neared trial, prosecutors said the combined clues, from financial records to phone data, painted a story of planning, motive, and payback. Even if much of it was still circumstantial, the narrative was powerful enough to keep Dallas buzzing. Justice may have been delayed, but by March 2025, things finally hit the courtroom in a major way. More than 4 years after the tragedy on I-35E, a Dallas County grand jury officially indicted Yella on a capital murder for hire charge, one of the most serious offenses under Texas law. The charge claimed money had allegedly exchanged hands to make the act happen, giving the case an even more intense edge. Prosecutors accused Beezy, real name Marquise DeAndre Conway, of supposedly putting out a cash offer that led to the event, with Q and Dontrell White allegedly carrying it out as part of their long-standing feud. Devin Brown was also indicted for his alleged role in helping coordinate behind the scenes, adding another twist to the already tangled web of accusations. As expected in such a high-profile case, the legal process dragged on. The original trial date set for April 2025 got delayed multiple times while attorneys filed motions, debated over evidence, and prepared their witnesses. The rescheduled dates eventually landed with Brown's trial set for November 2025, and Beezy's main trial pushed to February 2nd, 2026, a sign of just how serious and complex this case really was. Before any trial could even begin, bond hearings became the first major showdown. Prosecutors argued that Beezy should stay behind bars, calling him a potential flight risk because of his money, fame, and the weight of the charges. Defense lawyers fought back hard, saying he deserved the chance to fight his case while free. After his March 2025 arrest, Beezy was hit with a massive $2 million bond, an amount prosecutors said matched the severity of the accusations and reflected the resources he had at his disposal. At a key hearing on March 27, 2025, the judge decided to lower Yella Beezy's bond from $2 million to $750,000 after the defense stressed his family responsibilities, strong Dallas roots, and the fact that he had no history of violent crimes. His lawyers argued that keeping him behind bars was unfair, given that he had kids depending on him and had shown no signs of trying to run. But during that same court session, prosecutors dropped some serious details about the evidence they planned to use, and it had everyone in the room paying attention. They previewed their star witness, someone they claimed could directly tie Beezy to the alleged setup and connect every loose piece of the puzzle together. Then came the biggest reveal of all, the financial trail. Prosecutors called it the core of their entire case, claiming it was the proof that linked Beezy to what they said was a planned act for payment. According to their breakdown, Bank records showed that Beezy withdrew $40,000 in cash just days after Mo3 lost his life. Investigators believe that timing wasn't random. They said it matched the alleged arrangement between Beezy and the man accused of carrying out the attack. Defense attorneys pushed back immediately, arguing that successful artists often pull out large sums for totally legitimate reasons: travel, business, music videos, or personal expenses. Still, prosecutors kept returning to that one moment, the cash withdrawal, saying it wasn't just about the money, but about when and how it happened. That transaction, reportedly caught on a standard bank camera, became one of the most talked about pieces of evidence in the whole case. The footage itself hasn't been made public, but investigators confirmed they subpoenaed it to verify the exact timing and amount. Prosecutors zeroed in on what they called a suspicious cash withdrawal, claiming it tied directly to the setup. Their case leaned heavily on witness statements, especially from Q and White, who had already taken a plea deal for lesser charges. White agreed to cooperate in exchange for a reduced sentence, and his testimony was expected to be explosive. He claimed he had firsthand knowledge of conversations about money being offered and said he was allegedly brought in by Yella Beezy's circle to handle the situation involving Mo3. Prosecutors also pointed to phone records backing up his story, showing calls between Beezy and White within 24 hours of the tragedy. Cell tower data placed both their phones close together around that same time, which the state argued couldn't just be coincidence. They said the digital evidence, combined with the money trail, told a clear story of planning and payment. But Beezy's defense team came swinging back hard. They argued that after more than 4 years of investigation, prosecutors were leaning on weak secondhand information. They said there was no solid proof, no texts, no emails, and no direct money transfers showing a plan ever existed. Their argument was simple. The case was built on assumptions, not facts. They also went after White's credibility, reminding the court that he had a long criminal record and every reason to say whatever prosecutors wanted to hear just to cut his own sentence. The defense painted him as unreliable and self-serving, someone trying to protect himself, not reveal the truth. Hip-hop insider and street politics analyst Wack 100 spoke out about the case in a recent interview, and he didn't hold back. He questioned the strength of the prosecution's evidence, saying the cash withdrawal alone wasn't enough to prove anything beyond speculation. Wack explained that plenty of successful artists move large amounts of money for business or personal reasons, calling the idea that it automatically meant something criminal a huge stretch. He went on to break down how the financial angle might not hold up under real courtroom pressure, pointing out that prosecutors would face an uphill battle, convincing a jury that a simple cash withdrawal equals a planned setup. His comments added even more heat to a case already dividing fans and the hip-hop community. After posting his $750,000 bond, Yella Beezy walked free under strict house arrest, complete with Jeeps monitoring 24/7 and a court order to stay away from witnesses and co-defendants. In early November 2025, the judge made a small adjustment to those restrictions, giving him 5 hours a week to hit the studio and record. His lawyers argued that music wasn't just his career, it was his entire livelihood, and that cutting him off from it would cause major financial harm. The situation feels like something ripped straight from hip-hop history, another case where fame, loyalty, and old rivalries mix into a storm that spirals out of control. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. We've got even more wild stories and exclusive updates waiting for you. Tap one of the videos on your screen to see what's happening in our hood next.